Today I'm going to show you how to play You'll Always Find Your Way Back Home by Miley Cyrus, or Hannah Montana. This one's played in standard tuning and the entire song is played using only power chords. So at no point during the song will you ever play more than 3 strings at one time. So the first chord of the intro is you put your index finger on the 6th fret of the A string, ring finger on the 8th fret of the D string, and pinky on the 8th fret of the G string. The chord after that, you'll go from the 6th fret to the 5th fret. Then back up to the 6th fret again. Then to the 8th fret of the E string. Then you're going to repeat that one more time. Then to the 6th fret of the E string. And then the 4th fret of the E string. So far it sounds something like. So after you play that, you'll go back to the 6th fret of the A string, then the 5th fret of the A string, 6th fret of the A string, and then instead of going to the 8th fret of the E string, you'll go to the 1st fret of the E string. Repeat that chord one more time, then to the 3rd fret of the E string, and then to the 4th fret of the E string. So after you play that, you'll repeat the first part one more time. And then you'll go to the 1st fret of the E string and play that 4 times. Then to the 3rd fret of the E string and the 4th fret of the E string. Altogether it sounds like. The verse can be played with 3 different power chords, while the whole time your right hand is just going to be strumming 8th notes. So the first chord will be 4th fret of the E string, 6th fret of the E string, and 6th fret of the A string. You'll strum the first chord 4 times, second chord 4 times, and the 3rd chord 8 times. And you're going to repeat that 4 times, but on the 4th time you will only play this chord 5 times. You wake up, it's raining and it's Monday. Looks like it's one of those rough days. Time's up, you're late again, so get out the door. Just like that. The pre-chorus can be played with 2 different power chords. The first of which is the 4th fret of the E string, and then the 6th fret of the E string. Then you'll go back to the 4th fret. Now those first 3 power chords, you're just going to ring those out during the singing. And then when you go to back to the 6th fret, you're going to strum this with 8th notes, and you'll strum it 9 times. But when the lights go out, it's the ending of the show. And you're feeling like you got nowhere to go. Don't you know? The chorus is played using 5 different power chords, while the whole time your right hand's going to be strumming 8th notes. So you'll start off with 2 measures of 6th fret on the A string. Then you'll play 2 measures of 6th fret on the E string. 2 measures of 8th fret on the E string. Just 1 measure of 4th fret of the E string. And 1 measure of 6th fret of the E string. And then it repeats after that. You can can change your hair and you can change your clothes. You can change your mind, that's just the way it goes. You can say goodbye and you can say hello. You'll always find your way back home. You can change your style, and so on and so forth. The bridge is played with 4 power chords, and once again you're just going to be strumming 8th notes with your right hand. So the first chord is going to start on the 4th fret of the E string. And the chord after that is the only different chord in the entire song. You're going to put your index finger on the 3rd fret of the E string. Keep your ring finger on the 6th fret of the A string. And put your middle finger on the 5th fret of the D string. And you're not going to use your pinky. So it sounds like. So that's the second chord. Chord after that will go back to normal. 1st fret of the E string. And the 4th chord will be 1st fret of the A string. Where they know exactly who you are, where the real you is a superstar. You know it's never too far away. I should probably point out that in the chorus that's played after the bridge, it's played the exact same way as the first chorus, except instead of playing 8th notes with your right hand, you're just going to ring out each note just once. But the chorus that's after that chorus, because they repeat it again, is a little different because they changed the key, except that it's played the exact same way, except they're going to use different chords instead. So those chords are an open E string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and ring finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. So that's your first chord. Chord after that starts on the 2nd fret of the A string, then up 1 step to the 4th fret of the A string, then the 5th fret of the E string, and all the way up to the 9th fret of the E string. Played the exact same way, just different key. The outro is basically the same as the intro, except it's played a half a step higher. So it's going to be different chords, but you're going to play it the same, and the outro ends differently. So instead of starting on the 6th fret of the A string, I'll start on the 7th fret of the A string. So 7th fret of the A string, that's your first chord. Then the 6th fret of the A string, 7th fret of the A string, 9th fret of the E string. Play that chord twice. 7th fret of the E string, then the 5th fret of the E string. So that's the first part of the outro. Then you go back to the 7th fret of the A string, 6th fret of the A string, 7th fret of the A string, then all the way down to the 2nd fret of the E string, 4th fret of the E string, and just up to the 5th fret of the E string. And you play, you were supposed to play that chord twice. So it sounds like. So you're going to play that part 3 times. And after you play that 3 times, you'll play this part again. But instead of repeating it, you're just going to play the last chord of the song, which it rings out, which is this chord, played by an open E string, middle finger, 2nd fret of the A string, ring finger, 2nd fret of the D string. And that's the whole song. So